Alright, what is up guys? Saint Skills here. Welcome to a very different video. So in this video, I'm going to go through the zombies, the Black Ops, or no, just zombies in general, zombies storyline, alright, from start to finish, alright? And as you can see here, there's a lot, and I mean there is a lot of stuff, alright? It's brought up in the 3 chapters mostly, and this is gonna be part one, the longest chapter, and it's the normal world. It's the normal, and I'm gonna try to explain everything the best I can to my knowledge. If you guys want a very thorough, very simple or kind of simple as it can get thing on this, you can go to Noah J's video. I'm gonna link in the description if you guys want to see, like, know everything about it. But I want to try my best for you guys, and let's get into this. In this video, I'm going to be doing in the beginning this chapter, and if you guys want me to do the rest of it, I will. So let's get into this. September 3rd, 5 AD. This is the start of Zombies universe, alright? Knowing the planet as a gateway to Agartha, the Apothicans, the things from Origins, send meteors of element 115 to Earth. Element 115 is obviously the shit that it turns people into zombies. That's how the zombies are. People that are bodies are into the element 115. They believe humanity will one day use element 115 to wage war against themselves, opening a rift that will allow the Apothicans to escape the Darth Ether. So there's an ether, which is like good stuff, and then there's dark ether. Dark ether will it will corrupt you, it will make you go insane, alright? It will make you go straight insane. So you don't want dark ether, alright? And that's going to come into play along very, very soon. January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apothicans begins, alright? The Great War is the cutscene at the very end of Origins where they're holding the staffs up after the Easter egg. That's when they're in the Great War. They go back into the Great War. So they went all the way back, and we'll get into that later. April 14th, 1294. Sir Pablo Marinis, I guess, is saved from the clutches of Amargua by 4 unknown heroes. They would later be known as Primus. Primus is the 2.0 characters of Takio, Dempsey, Richtofen, and Nikolai. Primus is the we'll get into that. They're very huge. Together, or December 31st, 1299, together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothicans, bringing the Great War to an end. The Keepers obviously are the things that you see in Revelations, Shadows of Evil, the flying motherfuckers. The Keepers but those are the Dark Aether. Those are the corrupted Keepers, right? There's good Keepers that they fought with. January 1st, 1300, before they seemingly disappeared from history, Primus instructs the Wolf King to begin building Derisendrache, which is the snowy castle map in Black Ops 3. September 19th, 1318, honoring the Wolf King's dying request, his loyal servant Arthas scatters and buries his bones in the grounds of Derisendrache, accompanied by the King's Wolf. Alright. September 20th, and that's how you make the wolf bow, or the wolf bow, whatever it is. You find like bones. Those are the Wolf King's bones. September 20th, 1318, temporal rifts teleport Arthur to Resolution 1295 and 2025 Angola. That Arthur is the big dude from Buried. Because 2025 Angola is Resolution 1295. That is Buried. And from 1318, he is in Temporal Rift. He is teleported to Buried. So that is the big dude from Buried. It's I think it's his servant. I think they got this wrong right here. I think it's supposed to say Arthur, because Arthur, I think, was his loyal servant to the Wolf King. But whatever. Alright, we're jumping to 1900s. June 30th, 1908, a meteor containing element 115 crashes near the Stony Tunguska River. I think that's the river where in Shino Numa you can look outside the map and there's a huge ball of freaking element 115. I think that's the Shino Numa River, but I think I don't know though. August 30th, 1925, Dr. Edward Richtofen joins the Illuminati. Pretty straightforward. February 4th, 1931, large deposits of element 115 are discovered near Berselu, Germany. Dr. Ludwig Maxis, a German scientist, is sent to investigate. You know who Maxis is, so do we. May 10th, 1931, Maxis forms Group 935, the biggest group that the group of all groups, an international organization dedicated to the study of element 115, the thing that makes people zombies. Maxis tells his scientists that they represent the future of technological advancements and will be pioneers of human discovery. The group swears to work in secrecy from their respective governments. As Maxis says, we cannot afford to let this power fall into the wrong hands. Whew. Element 115 is the shit. November 5th, 1934, Samantha Maxis is born. Her mother dies in childbirth. Samantha, the little girl. August 11th, 1936, Maxis invites Richtofen to join 935. He agrees, secretly acting on behalf of the Illuminati's interests. So this whole, I forgot to say, I think I did, this whole world is based on the real world. The first world, this mostly takes place in Call of Duty at wartime and the Black Ops 1 times. All this whole chapter. Where am I? April 10th, 1937. The Imperial Japanese Army discovers element 115 meteor fragments in a swamp within Japanese territory. They build the Rising Sun facility to continue research. Division 9 is created to oversee its operation. I think that's what I was talking about, element 115 meteor fragments. The Rising Sun facility is, I'm 99.9% sure that is Shino Numa facility. And the fragment was the big ball, so that's just a fragment of it. My bad. So the ball outside of Shino Numa is the meteor fragments that they saw. They build the Rising Sun facility to continue that research. The Rising Sun is Shino Numa map. June 14th, 1937, the United States government discovers deposits of element 115 at Groom Lake. Groom Lake is Area 51. Area 51, like starting area, and Moon. That's where that is. July 2nd, 1939, Maxis and Richtofen begins teleportation experiments with the matter transference prototype to mild success. The subjects are teleported, but their chemical composition is altered, leaving them catatonic and changed. So the portal fucks their DNA up. It's bad. Very, 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 very bad. August 5th, 1939, using element 115, Maxis and Richtofen resurrect one of the teleported corpses for the first time. Initially, it obeys, but soon becomes rabid and attacks them. The test subject is killed. So that is Der Reese. There's an audio log that talks about them trying to control one of the zombies and they had to kill it, so that's what that is. August 5th, 1939, using element 115, Maxis and Richtofen resurrect one of the teleported corpses. Oh, I'm sorry. September 3rd, 1939, Richtofen begins development of the Wonder Waffle DG2, the best weapon to ever be in zombies. November 23rd, 1939, Maxis turns to Reichstag for additional funding. Germany agrees to the request, expressing interest in their weapons research, teleportation technology, and the reanimated undead subject. So he needs funding for his 935 project to look at the element 115. December 4th, 1939, during test trial 151, Richtofen and Dr. Schuster successfully teleported a walnut. This is the first successful test where the chemical composition of the object is maintained throughout the process. Woohoo. This is where all the teleporters come in from Der Reese. All of this. Bam. December 5th, 1939, Edward's walnut delivery fails to impress Maxis, who declares it was a waste of time. He reveals to Richthofen that 935 will soon be funded by Germany. Richthofen worries that this will lead to mass defections. He and Schuster decide to continue the teleportation experience behind Maxis's back. January 4th, 1940, Richthofen and Schuster conduct their first human teleportation test. Richthofen is so confident in his success, he volunteers himself. Teleported to the moon, he encounters the MPD, the Aether Pyramid hidden by the Apothecans, which is the pyramid that is on the moon, on the map, by the power. While inspecting the device, Richthofen is electrocuted and begins hearing the many voices of corruption, including that of the Shadow Man, the device that teleports him to Shangri-La. Corrupted by the Darth Aether, Richthofen is gradually being driven insane by an obsession to find Agartha, which is Agartha is it's the crazy, no, it's not the crazy place. It's well, hang on. Let me read that again, just because I think I said it wrong. Richthofen is electrocuted and begins hearing the many voices of corruption. So that MPB has dark ether in it, right? There's good ether and then there's dark ether. It was hidden by the Apothecans because they don't want anyone messing with it. And he messes with it, and the dark ether makes you go corrupted and insane. So he was insane. He driven mad and an obsession to find Agartha. So this is 1.0 Richthofen. This is the Richthofen that is in World at War, Black Ops, all that. So he's crazy. He's done. He's obsession to find Agartha, the crazy place, all that shit, like as is in Origins. January 5th, 1940, Richthofen is worshipped by the natives of Shangri-La. An altar is built in his name. Richthofen encounters the focusing zone for the first time. The focusing zone is something. I don't know what that is. Go to Noah J's channel and go look at his to understand that. The focusing zone, because I think he knows what it is, but I think it'll tell us what it is. January 23rd, 1940, after a near-month absence, Richthofen returns to Schuster with a plan to build Griffin Station. Griffin Station is the moon map. All of that is, that's Griffin Station. January 24th, 1940, a day before my birthday, Richthofen reannounces his involvement with the Illuminati. When asked how he could abandon the obligation to the order, he says Teddy was a liar. So, Teddy, this is the insane. He's insane. So, all that is just gibberish. He's driven mad from the dark ether. March 13, 1940, construction of Griffin Station on the moon begins. Frustrated with Max's alignment with Germany, other disgruntled Group 935 scientists joined the cause of Griffin Station. July 13, 1940, Maxis instructs his assistant Sophia, the prostitute bitch from Shadows of Evil, to write a letter to the Reichstag High Command requesting additional funds. Though he reports the mass production will be underway shortly, Derice lacks not only the funding but sufficient volumes of Element 115. Derice, that facility that you guys know what Derice is. It's in every fucking Black Ops, it feels like. August 1st, 1940, in response to Max's request, Germany creates two new facilities for Group 935. The Kino der Toten facility, a repurposed theater, and the asylum facility at the Wittenau Sanatorium in Berlin. The two are Kino der Toten, obviously, and then asylum facility is Verrückt. August 18, 1940, as per Germany's request, the Japanese Imperial Army hands over the Rising Sun facility, aka Shinonuma, to Group 935. Division 9 remains involved on site. Division 9 will know what Division 9 is soon. October 3rd, 1940, Group 935 establishes a research facility in Siberia near the Tunguska River. Yeah. November 6th, 1940, Group 935 established a research facility at Der Eisendrache. Der Eisendrache was the snowy map on Black Ops 3. June 24th, 1941, Nicola, or, Nic- God damn it. What's his name? You guys know him, Nikolai. Nikolai's wife is killed during the German advances into the Soviet Union. In an effort to numb the pain, Nikolai increasingly turns to vodka, knowing why his obsession with vodka is that because his wife died. January 11th, 1942, Maxis gives Fluffy to Samantha. The dog is expecting a litter. That's huge. That's how the dogs are made. Maxis gives Fluffy. Fluffy is the main dog, and the litters are like Fluffy in the litter. Her pups are all the flaming dogs that you see in the Black Ops Zombies games. And I just thought that was super cool. That yeah, I don't know. January 20th, 1942, Maxis tests the first file for storage on the data server. What? Maxis tests the first file for storage on the data servant. Okay. January 26, 1942, on the data servant, Maxis catalogs locations with prominent element 115 deposits. He includes information about its various applications and cites that the reanimation of dead cells is a possible side effect. So he's cataloging locations that might have element 115 in, and he wants people to go get it immediately. January 30th, 1942, Richtofen completes the Wonder Waffle DG2 prototype. Richtofen, you're insane, but you made the best weapon in Black Ops Zombies. February 1st, 1942, with Griffin Station completed, the moon, Richtofen names Dr. Groff lead scientist and returns to Earth to continue the charade with Maxis. Working alongside Schuster, Groff is left to discover how to power the MPD, the very bad thing that you should not fuck with, that makes you go insane. February 2nd, 1942, in a speech to his staff, Groff talks optimistically about Griffin Station's establishment as a permanent base of operations. So Groff wants Griffin Station to be permanent base of operations for 935. April 17, 1942, Maxis develops the ray gun prototype at Shinonuma Rising Sun facility. H. Porter works on developing the second generation model, the ray gun Mark II. Maxis did make the ray gun. June 13, 1942, a result of temporal rifts in 1965 Kino, Dr. Monty reaches across time and offers little nudges. One nudge is develop Group 935's Element 115 fused elixirs. They create 4 medical beverages known as Juggernaut, Quick Revive, Speed, Cola, Double Tap. Those are the 4 OG perks. Dr. Monty is obviously a crazy dude, and he helped made the original 4 perks for 935. June 28, 1942, Group 935 continues development of a weapons upgrade machine, aka Pack-a-Punch. July 18, 1942, Groff and Schuster unwittingly discover how to charge the MPD. When Schuster kills a rat near the device, its death and why do they use big words, man? Its death begins filling the tank, charging the device. They report their findings to Richtofen. July 20th, 1942, Richtofen begins sending soldiers and scientists to the moon to be sacrificed. Their souls used to charge the MPD. So Richtofen has gone completely insane, and he's sending his soldiers and his scientists to charge the MPD because he's obsessed with finding Agartha, and he thinks that is the thing to find Agartha. November 5th, 1942, Takio. Hey, Takio. Takio is dispatched by the Emperor to oversee the work of Group 95 and Division 9 at the Rising Sun facility. That's where we see Takio. And that's why you always say, "For the Emperor!" We will know why, and it's so cool why we always hear him say this. We will find out soon. December 8, 1942, Richtofen shares the Element 115 based elixir recipes with Griffin Station. They develop Mule Kick. December 9th, 1942, Nikolai's brother is killed in the Battle of Stalingrad. So Nikolai, he ain't having a good time here. December 14, 1942, Richtofen creates the Monkey Bomb. Pretty straightforward. December 16, 1942, in a personal log, Maxis expresses concern over Element 115's impact on Richtofen's behavior. No longer trusting him, he wonders if it's a mistake to invite him to 935, Group 935. So he thinks that it's Element 115's reason that Richtofen is being the way he is, but no, it is the MPD of the Dark Aether, or the Dark Ether, that corrupted him to finding Agartha. December 20th, 1942, accompanied by Sophia, Maxis is transferred to the Kino facility to focus on creating German's undead army. Samantha is left in Richtofen's care. That is probably the biggest fuck up in the world. He left his little daughter with in Richtofen's care, the crazy Richtofen. January 8th, 1943, Maxis worries he and Sophia have grown too close. He considers sending her away. They're having a little relationship time. January 16th, 1943, Nikolai is captured by German forces during the Battle of Stalingrad. He becomes a subject in Group 935's experiments. That is going to become huge in a moment. January 27th, 1943, Maxis reports success with Subject 26, whose violent outbursts have been greatly reduced. Maxis believes the methods of treatment will be 100% effective in most cases. February 2nd, 1943, Battle of Stalingrad ends, in this world at least. February 10th, 1943, Maxis reports the treatment has been perfected. He believes if Subject 26 can retain the impression longer than 26 hours, then the delivery of the zombie army can be accelerated. The zombie army delivered to the Germans, and that's what they're funding. They want that stuff. February 12th, 1943, after attacking a handler, Subject 26 is killed and deemed another setback. May 18th, 1943, Harvey Yenna begins his work with 935. Harvey Yenna is badass. June 4th, 1943, Primus arrives from Dimension 63. In an effort to prevent the events that are about to unfold, they formulate a plan to stop this dimension's Richtofen, the very bad Richtofen. Primus is the Origins characters and the Black Ops 3 characters of them. June 11, 1943, Richtofen. Alright, I don't think I'm explaining this to us. So Dimension 63 is a whole nother dimension, a whole nother world. Dimension 63 is Shadows of Evil, Mob of the Dead, Origins, and all that. Dimension 63 is a whole nother dimension. We're in this dimension right now. We'll just call it normal dimension. June 11, 1943, Richtofen is contacted from the house by Maxis, who warns that the test subjects must never be allowed to be awakened. The havoc that could be wreaked upon the future by such simply minded individual would be catastrophic. The house. June 15, 1943, Takio reports to the Emperor that the work being done at the Rising Sun facility is unacceptable, which it is. July 19, 1943, Primus Richtofen, the 2.0 Richtofen, the good Richtofen, is teleported to the house, and Agartha reunited him with Maxis. July 24, 1943, on the order of the Emperor, Takio is taken prisoner by Group 95 and Division 9. He is used as a test subject for experiments. So him and, who is it? Who is it again? Him and Nikolai are now test subjects for Group 935. Where are we at? Right here. July 14, 1944, after the setbacks from Subject 26, Maxis reports new success with the undead army. However, he maintains his belief that the undead cannot be controlled or maintained. Pretty much. September 22nd, 1944, Pablo Marinas, the dude from the way back before, a Mexican spy, is captured by Group 935 at Der Eisendrache. So Pablo, Nikolai, and Takio are all captured by Group 935. May 9th, 1945, in his cell, Pablo writes of visions of a great war. He has visions of a great war because his later self, or his past self, was in the Great War, and he's got saved by a Margwa from the 4 Primus characters. So he's having visions of this and all this, but he actually happened to him. In his cell, Pablo writes of visions of a great war. He describes a great battle against strange demon-like characters who were trying to devour the earth, the Apothegons. In his visions, he see four knights protecting him from certain death. Like I said, Primus characters. He makes a note that the knights wore tunics similar to those in Der Eisendrache. Makes sense. June 4th, 1945. So this is what happens in Nacht der Untoten. This is the start. The start. Call of Duty World at War. This is it. An Allied plane malfunctions over an airfield and crashes. Germany Army trucks transporting the undead in Element 115 begin Group 935 facilities and are struck in the crash. The Marines surviving the crash hold out against the undead as long as they can. So that's what happens in Nox der Untoten, which explains why the zombies are in the first place, the trucks are there in the first place, why the plane crashed, and why all of this. So Germany is mad because they had all the stuff that they wanted and it fucks up. June 17, 1945, Peter McCain infiltrates Group 935 at Der Riese. Peter McCain will come soon. June 29th, 1945, Groff and Schuster developed the wave gun, the gun that's on the moon, the crazy one that makes them blow up in the fucking fat mans. July 15th, 1945, Richthofen travels to the Siberian facility to do further research on live specimens as her temporary guardian. He takes Samantha with him. Group 935 begins transforming 3 test subjects for experimentation: Nikolai, Pablo, and Takio. Those 3. July 29, 1945, while Richthofen works at the Siberian facility, Group 935 begins development of Deadshot Daiquiri, the best perk to ever be in zombies. August 1st, 1945, the test subjects arrive at the Siberian facility for Richthofen's experiments. The 3 people that are mentioned right here. August 31st, 1945, CIA handler Cornelius Purnell confirms that Peter McCain has successfully infiltrated Group 935 and has been transferred to the asylum facility. Correct. Cornelius suspects Group 935 is losing control of their experiments and has sent in a Marine recon unit to extract McCain. Tank Dempsey is to lead the squad, so that's where Tank Dempsey comes in. September 1st, 1945, Peter is outed as a spy and captured by Group 935. So Peter, Pablo, Nikolai, and Takio are all captured by Group 935. September 2nd, 1945, Richthofen reports Pablo has died following a spleen removal. So Pablo, he's out of here. He also reveals he's been performing experiments on Samantha. That's fucked up. Max is not going to like that. World War II ends. Group 935 continues their research. Temporal rifts begin to affect the asylum facility. An orderly reports increasing problems with test subjects. Many in the facility have begun hearing voices coming from the walls, including the sobbing of a boy and a girl screaming, and a man shouting for children to close the windows. So what I saw, or what I heard from Noah's video when he talked about this, it was about the house. They were hearing things of like the house, I think, something like that. I don't know. Whatever I don't know, you can go find in Noah J's video in the description. September 3rd, 1945, an outbreak occurs at the asylum facility. Peter McCain escapes. He escapes the Verrucht facility. Peter McCain, he's awesome. September 6th, 1945, this is the Verrucht story. Dempsey, Tank Dempsey, John Banana, Smokey, and a 4th Marine arrive at the asylum facility to find it overrun by zombies, which comes to Verrucht. They fight off the horde as long as they can. Dempsey is apprehended by Group 935. So, Pablo died. Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai are all captured by Group 935. All the 3 characters. September 7th, 1945, John Banana writes messages and records his last words while being eaten alive by an undead Smokey, his brethren, his squadron. September 10th, 1945, Richthofen reports another spy has been captured and will be brought into... Richthofen reports another spy has been captured and will be brought in to replace the Mexican. The subject is Dempsey. Wait, didn't they just say... Oh, it would replace. Oh, it replaces the Mexican Pablo Dempsey. All right, so Dempsey's there now. September 13th, 1945, Cornelius Purnell attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain telling him to rendezvous at the Rising Sun facility. September 17th, 1945. Oh, alright. September 13th is this. Then they must have did something wrong. Then September 17th, Dempsey arrives at the Siberian facility with the other characters. September 20th, 1945, Richtofen documents the personality traits of his text subjects. Dempsey's is in, intellect. What? His intelligence, I guess, seems low, but his will is strong. Takio is still staring at the floor, muttering what sounds like some kind of proverb all over and over again. Nikolai has recently begun responding to stimuli, but only after injections of a new serum made primarily from vodka. So he can only run off vodka, pretty much. Richtofen notes that their minds have been almost entirely broken with no memory remaining of who they once were. So that is huge. The reason why in Kino der Toten, they always been screaming the same shit over again because they have no memory of who they are. They have no memory except for they just have no memory of who they once were. So they're just nah. That's why they just say like Takio says for the emperor, and shit like that because that's the only thing he knows and says and shit like that. And Nikolai always says vodka because that's what that's the only thing he knows is vodka and shit like that. September 24th, 1945, Maxis returns to Der Reese. He orders Richtofen to do likewise so they may continue their work on the matter transference device, aka teleporter. September 27th, 1945, Richtofen returns to Der Reese with Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, and Samantha. That is huge. October 1st, 1945, Maxis reports on Richtofen's findings with his live test subjects, noting that while their baseline psyche remains intact, all specific memories have been lost, like I talked about. October 1st, 1945, infuriated to learn that Maxis has not been mass producing the DG2 as he swore he would, the Wonder Waffle, Richtofen reveals in his plot to destroy Maxis and Samantha, vowing that he will no longer continue to work on his undead army, which this pretty much leads to the events of Der Reese Easter egg, where Richtofen, the crazy Richtofen, throws Maxis and Samantha into the teleporter like this shows in the Easter egg. October 8th, 1945, Groff reports to Richtofen the MPT is nearly ready. Alright. October 12th, 1945, Groff radios Richtofen to inform him that the device has been powered up and is awaiting the conduit. Richtofen says he will proceed with Operation Shield and dispose of Maxis and Samantha, which is the Der Reese Easter egg at the end of Der Reese. October 13th, 1945, though frustrated that the matter transference tests have been largely unsuccessful, Maxis acknowledges that the test subject's departure from the original point of origin is undeniable. However, Richtofen's suggestion that the subjects have been transported not through space but time itself causes Maxis to worry if his irrationality may soon prove a liability to our endeavors. So when they go through the portal, they go not through just space but time. So they can go back to 1200 BC if they wanted to, boys. That's how crazy the freaking thing is. Alright, this is huge. So this is a lot to take in, so let me get ready for this. October 13th, 1945. Big day for everyone. Maxis and Richtofen performed teleportation test trials on test subjects number 3, 4. Wait, hang on. Alright, never mind. Maxis and Richtofen performed teleportation test trials on test subjects number 3, 4, and 5. All fail, including test 5, where Maxis uses Fluffy. Alright, as test 6 fails, Fluffy, now changed, is teleported back into the chamber. Samantha sees Fluffy and runs into the teleporter. Maxis chases after her. Richtofen seals them both in the test chamber and teleports all 3 of them. Never mind, what I said up there was wrong. Right now, that's the Der Reese Easter egg. like, in the beginning of the giant, he goes ha ha ha, like he laughs and they aim his gun at him. That's right after he does what is the first bullet point. Samantha is teleported to the moon while Groff and Schuster work on the MPD. Running into the MPD, she is drawn inside of it, where she becomes corrupted by the dark ether. So dark ether is very, very bad, and that's how Samantha in the moon Easter egg is in the chamber in the fucking pyramid and all that crazy shit. So she is corrupted. She is going to be just like we're talking, but she's in it. So she has complete power, and that is exactly, she can control the zombies. And that's how you, every time you get a perk or something, or you get a drop, you hear Samantha because she's in the dark ether. She controls almost everything, or if not everything. Maxis is teleported to the crazy place and develops the powers to merge with electricity. This is huge. So Maxis is teleported to the crazy place in Origins, where you put the staffs down and shit to upgrade them, and develops the power to merge with electricity. This is how Maxis talks to you in the transit characters, like over the radio, and that's how he talks in the moon Easter egg, because he's in the merge with electricity. He's in electricity. He can talk to you through electricity. Richtofen returns to the moon. Learning Samantha is trapped in the MPD, he orders Groff to teleport Maxis there to coax her out of the device. He also warns Groff to keep an eye out for an evil-looking dog. So the dog has now turned into the hellhounds that we greatly know of. In an effort to free Samantha, Maxis approaches the MPD and persuades her to come out. Once she does, Maxis gives her instructions. Kill them all. Maxis kills himself and merges with the technology of Griffin Station, like I said, while Samantha unleashes the undead upon the base. Because she has dark aether, she's corrupted, she can control the zombies. So that day was shit for everyone. So first, 1.0 Maxis kills himself, and Samantha unleashes the undead upon the base. October 14, 1945, H. Porter activates the alarm as an outbreak occurs at Der Reese. Before taking a cyanide capsule, he says he's all out of hope, God forgive us all. So he kills himself. Richtofen returns to Der Reese and awakens Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai. With no recollection of who they are and who Richtofen is, they agree to help him. The four would become known as Ultimus. Ultimus is the 1.0 characters of the four original characters. Ultimus is the 1.0 characters, which goes around Call of Duty World at War and Black Ops 1. Primus is Origins characters, and Black Ops 3 versions of themselves. October 18th, 1945, Peter McCain parachutes over the Rising Sun facility. He dies shortly after. So the parachuted dude in the beginning of the Shinonuma first room, that's Peter McCain. And Peter McCain was a test subject in the Verrect facility. He got out, like we said. So October 21st, this is the Shinonuma story. Ultimus, the 1.0 characters, travel to the Rising Sun facility to recover Richtofen's diary. Upon reading it, Richtofen begins to form his plan to defeat Samantha, which we're in Shinonuma right now. Shinonuma is in the Black Ops 1. No. I think it's World at War. We're in the Shinonuma. That was Shinonuma right there. They went to go get his diary to defeat Samantha. October 28th, 1945, a week later, Der Reese. This is the Der Reese story. Ultimus returns to Der Reese with his diary. Richtofen plans to use the teleporter to return to the moon and confront Samantha. Unfortunately, the Wonder Waffle DG2 overloads the teleporter and sends them through time, causing Richtofen to drop his diary. If I'm not mistaken, it'll stay soon, I think, but I think they get teleported to Shangri-La. November 5th, 1945, Group 95 is disbanded. They're done. Group 935 is over with. January 19, 1946, the United States and the Soviet Union share their resources recovered from Group 935's various research stations. Richtofen's diary is among the items recovered by the Soviet Union. That is horrible. January 27, 1946, the Pentagon hires many former Group 935 scientists in an effort to replicate their work, which explains Level 3 of the Pentagon in the Level 5 of Black Ops 1. January 29, 1946, as with their U.S. counterparts, the Soviet hire many former Group 935 scientists. Among them is Harvey Yena, who forms the Ascension Group, which is the Ascension map. July 29, 1952, the Pentagon begins experiments involving their own versions of the undead, which I think are the creepy crawlies, if I'm not mistaken, because that's where, yeah, I think they're the creepy crawlies. And that's what I was talking about, the third level of the Pentagon. May 12, 1955, the U.S. government transfers a number of Element 115 experiments to the Groom Lake facility. Groom Lake facility is Area 51 of Moon, the starting Moon area. October 19th, 1955, Gersh and Yuri Zavosky began working for the Ascension Group. Pretty straightforward. April 25th, 1956, Shangri-La. This is Shangri-La story. Explorers Brock and Gary discover Shangri-La. During an eclipse, they're unwittingly trapped in a time loop. You know what a time loop is. Sally, sent back in time from 2011, is trapped in the same loop. Ultimus arrives in Shangri-La with the help of Brock and Gary. They acquire the focusing stone. So the focusing stone is the whole Easter egg for Shangri-La is the focusing stone. And so Sally, I think Sally is like the Call of the Dead, one of the Call of the Dead people, I think. And they're stuck in that time loop, so they're just going to be in the same thing all over again, Shangri-La. June 3rd, 1959, the Pentagon constructs their own prototype teleporter and commences experimentation. Pretty straightforward. March 15, 1962, studying Group 935's medical elixir research, the Ascension Group develops PhD Flopper and Stamina. Those two perks would show up in Ascension, which makes sense. November 11th, 1962, Gersh begins work on Project Thunder. Project Thunder is, I think, the making of the Gersh device, because Dr. Gersh, I think, makes the Gersh device. December 12th, 1962, Gersh and Yuri begin working on the Gersh device, codenamed Project Mercury. Never mind, Project Thunder is something else. Project Mercury is the making of the Gersh device. June 15th, 1963, the Pentagon begins developments of their own versions of the Wunderwaffe DG-2. August 17th, 1963, the Pentagon begins development of their own version of the Winter's Howl. Those two guns are pretty dope. October 28th, 1963, so this is Kino der Toten. And it all goes in the order. So in the order of the maps that they came out in the game is not the order that they are in the storyline. Kino der Toten. From Duris, Ultimus teleports to Kino. That's why you spawn in to Kino with the electricity, because you spawn in Kino. This marks the first time Ultimus travels across space and time. Temporal rifts occur across dimensions. In light of these developments, Monty feels obligated to step in and begins to make changes in the background across time. He helps Group 935 invent perk machines. He also chalk drawing. He adds chalk drawing into the walls. Little nudges. Ultimus locates a lunar lander and flies to the Ascension facility. So from Kino, they find a lunar lander, and that's why you spawn into Ascension from the lunar lander, because they found that in Kino der Toten. October 29, 1963, Dr. Gersh informed the senior staff that Yuri has been removed from Project Mercury and has been transferred to rocket research. Yuri begins to notice the appearance of children's toys around this facility. Pretty weird. November 1st, 1963, upon reading Richtofen's diary, Yuri begins to hear Samantha's voice. So, because she has complete power. Over several days, her voice will consume him, driving him to the brink of insanity. She orders him to resume work on the Gersh device. He obeys. He got kicked out of the thing, but Samantha made him go back and make it again. November 4th, 1963, Gersh announces to the committee that Project Thunder is nearing completion. Gersh reveals Yuri may need to be removed from Ascension entirely, having observed his being hostile towards other scientists and frequently observed muttering to himself because he's gone insane. November 5th, or he's talking to Samantha, which pretty much he's insane. November 5th, 1963, obeying Samantha's wishes, Yuri tricks Gersh into activating the Gersh device. The rift absorbs him and allows Samantha to travel through. Yuri is also absorbed and transported to the Pentagon. So this is where the Pentagon thief is, the crazy fast dude from the 5 map. Yuri is actually that dude, surprisingly enough. November 6, 1963. Alright, so here's two parts. Ascension. This is Ascension's storyline. Ultimus arrives at the Soviet Cosmodome and free Gersh from the Casimir mechanism, which is the whole Easter egg for that. Richtofen recovers his diary, yay, and learns that they need the Viral device from the Siberian facility for his plan, maintaining his ethereal form, ethereal form, whatever. Gersh sends them into a rift to their next destination before beginning his travel across space and time. Okay. 5. In the Pentagon, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, Robert McNamara meet with Fidel Castro in the aftermath of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Due to the events at the Cosmodome, a zombie outbreak occurs. Samantha sends Yuri to the Pentagon to thwart their survival, aka the Pentagon thief, and Gersh is freed. After Gersh is freed and Ultimus departs from the Cosmodome, the outbreak ends at the Pentagon. All four survive. All four of these motherfuckers survive. 5. In an effort to avoid, November 19, 1963, in an effort to avoid another undead outbreak, the U.S. government creates the Broken Arrow program. Establishing several facilities around the country, the Groom Lake program is folded into Broken Arrow. So Area 51 is Broken Arrow now. August 11, 1973, Broken Arrow recovers a shard of Element 115 from Division 9. Okay. September 29, 1979, Russman, the black dude from the Transit characters, Russman begins work at Broken Arrow. Over the course of his employment, his extensive exposure to Element 115 leads to some significant memory loss. So that is huge. Too much exposure to Element 115 leads to memory loss, like horrible memory loss, and that's why Russman can't remember anything when he talks shit to everyone in Black Ops 2 Transit characters and shit like that. So that's pretty cool. So that's why a lot of people, you'll see that a lot, and obsessions will occur, and if it gets too bad, you'll turn into a Nazi zombie or a zombie. April 20th, 1983, Broken Arrow begins live animal experiments with the shard, creating BIOS. I think BIOS are the little fuckers, the little fucking fuckers from Transit. I think those are it. No, I don't think. Never mind. They might be it. They might be it. Well, we'll see. I'll know in a minute. June 24th, 1986, a containment breach involving the BIOS occurs at one of the Broken Arrow facilities. Russman is one of the few to escape alive. The facility is shut down and abandoned. Its projects are transferred to other locations. Victus, the 1.0 characters. No. Victus. Nah, fuck. Victus is the Transit characters. The Russman, Stuhlinger, the girl, and that other dude. I think. Oh my god, dude. Fuck. Why can I not remember? Alright, where are we at? We're not calling it that. We're right here. Alright. I gotta look this up. Victus in the zombie storyline. Fuck. No, Victus is the Transit characters because Ultimus is the 1.0 characters. God damn it, I'm exposed to Element 1.5. I cannot remember. God. Victus is the 4 Transit characters. They arrive at the abandoned Broken Arrow facility, still being pursued by undead Richtofen, which is 1.0 Richtofen. They recover the Element 115 shard and depart through another rift. Okay, we're in the 2010s now, boys. March 17, 2011, Call of the Dead. Call of the Dead storyline. After entering the rift, Ultimus, the 1.0 characters, arrive at the Siberian facility in 2011. So the Siberian facility that they've been bringing up here and there is the Call of the Dead facility. In 2011, they arrive in 2011 where they find themselves trapped in a closet or in a closet while George A. Romero films his latest project at the moon. So that is crazy. So you know how in Call of the Dead you play with the 4 actors? When you go down to that like chamber and you knife it, you hear the 4 characters. So they trap them in there. That's how they got in there, because Samantha traps them. I know the George traps them in there. So that's how that they get in there, and then the four characters get them out. Samantha, in her pursuit of Ultimus, unleashes an undead outbreak, which explains why the zombies are there. The film stars fight the undead horde, ultimately recovering the viral device of Richtofen. Ultimus teleports to Shangri-La in an effort to acquire the next artifact required to defeat Samantha, the Focusing Stone. That's how it leads up to Shangri-La. April 11, 2011. Following the disappearance of the Call of the Dead cast and crew, Romero's assistant Sally begins to search for her boss. Her journey leads her back to Shangri-La during an eclipse, which sends her back in time to April 25, 1956. We read that. Sally was George Romero's assistant, and she gets stuck in a time loop with those two other dudes that found Shangri-La. April 10th, 2025. So we're in Black Ops 2, boys. No. We're almost in Black Ops 2. Almost. Alright, right here, October 13th is crazy. I know, I'll explain it the best I can. April 11th, 2011. No. April 10th, 2025. Broken Arrow creates the Denizens. Denizens, yes. The bios that we were talking about are not the little fuckers that when you go in the bad spot, they scratch your face. The Denizens are the fuckers that I hate. Broken Arrow accidentally creates Avogado. Don't know what that is. September 1st, 2025. And desperate needs to more Element 115, Broken Arrow used an excavator to drill near the nuclear testing facility known as Nuketown. Alright. Here is the craziest thing. Here's the moon. If you guys do not know the moon Easter egg, here it is right here for you guys. Using the Vril device in the Focusing Stone, Richtofen completes his grand scheme and swaps bodies with Samantha on the moon. So Richtofen is now Samantha in her big in the dark ether, so he controls everything, and that's why you hear in Black Ops 2 when Richtofen says max ammo, because 1.0 Richtofen is crazy. He's now crazy. Swaps with Samantha on the moon, giving him full control of the zombies and the Aether. Maxis contacts the remaining members of Ultimus, the three characters, through the station's electronics and asks for their help to defeat Richtofen, which is he's bonded with electricity. That's how he can talk through them. They agree. They launch missiles at the Earth, leaving it fractured and broken. That's how the world is in Black Ops 2, because they shoot missiles at it. They serve Richtofen's connection with the Aether, but he maintains control over the zombies. Once Maxis controls the Aether in 2035, he returns to the moon and plucks Samantha from Richtofen's body to join him in Agartha. So Maxis in 10 years from now, he returns to the moon and takes corrupted Richtofen to Agartha with him. The Earth fracturing triggers further temporal rifts, teleporting an 1800s western town underneath a mining facility in Angola. So the whole how of Buried being underground is because temporal rifts. It teleported the whole town underneath the mining facility in Angola, which is Buried. And that's where Arthur is pulled through the rift from 1318, arriving in the new Buried town. That's how Buried gets there. Nuketown zombies. So, this is, if you guys ever wondered why Nuketown gets bombed every time, this is why. In the same events, the same day as the moon, a nuclear bomb explodes outside of Nuketown as a result of Broken Arrow's drilling. CIA and CDC operatives arrive to find an updated outbreak already in progress. One of the missiles from the moon hits Nuketown. So one of the missiles that they send off in the moon Easter egg hit Nuketown, right next to it, killing all on sight except for Marlington Johnson, who survives by hiding in the nuclear bunker, which is the one outside the greenhouse. Yeah, the one outside the greenhouse. So, if you guys ever wonder on Black Ops 2 why there's a huge fucking nuke in Nuketown right next to it, it's because it was a bomb from the moon Griffin station that the Ultimus characters let off, which I think is completely amazing how they put that all together. Alright, we almost done? We're not. Oh my god, boys. 54 minutes into it. This is the longest chapter. They're not all fucking an hour long, hour and 30 minutes. This is the longest chapter, and then the other ones are like 30 minutes, 20 minutes. So, November 5th, 2025. We're still in the same world. November 5th, 2025, Broken Arrow is disbanded after the primary facility is lost in a fire. It is later believed to be an act of arson committed by employees destroying evidence implicating them in the outbreak. Russman, his mind broken after 40 years of exposure to element 115, begins to wander the earth. Russman, the boy, the homie. March 18, 2027, in a distress call, former CDC Assistant Director George Barkley reveals that the infectious contaminants have gone airborne. He advises caution regarding any allies showing signs of short-term memory loss, psychosis, delusion, and paranoia. Those are the things that happen, the effects from element 115. When it gets too bad, they turn them into zombies. March 27 to 2027. A society of survivors who eat the undead is formed. They are called the Flesh. You need to remember that. Samuel L. Stuhlinger joins the Flesh in May 12th, 2027. So Stuhlinger is that crazy dude from the Transit Characters. All right. He eats the undead. He ate the undead. So he's crazy. June 28, 2027. Through the consumption of the undead meat, the Flesh begin hearing Richtofen's voice. The Richtofen that's in the dark ether that controls everything in the zombies. He tries to persuade them to build global polarization devices in pursuit of his new plan, to mend the rift in space-time and require full control over the aether. So he wants full control of everything. 1.0 Richtofen is insane. He's stupid. He's crazy. June 28, 2027, Maxis begins communicating to survivors on Earth, telling those willing to listen to build global polarization devices for him in pursuit of his new plan to open Agartha and reunite him with Samantha, even though it will result in the destruction of the Earth. So Maxis, the 1.0 Maxis, he starts talking because he's binding with electricity. He wants everyone on Earth, which is the people, the transit characters, he wants them to build the polarization devices for him, but Richtofen wants all of them to make it for them. So they gotta choose, and he doesn't care. He just wants to see his little girl again, even though it will result in the destruction of the Earth, destruction of the whole dimension Earth. April 4th, 2028, the Flesh broadcasts their message across all frequencies. They tell others to heed our call. As that the path to enlightenment can be achieved by consuming the undead. The Flesh broadcasts messages telling others to heed their... Oh, it's just twice. Alright. Typo. December 9th, 2028, Max's followers begin constructing a spire near the Hanford site facility. I don't know what completely that is. I think Hanford site facility is around Green Run in Transit Town and all of them. I think it's around there. Maybe. I don't know. January 3rd, 2029, Max's followers begin to doubt him, believing he may in fact be evil. They destroy their electronics. So Maxis, involved with all the electronics, he thinks that he's being crazy because all he wants to know is his daughter, see his daughter again, even though it is going to close off this whole dimension and destroy it. So he thinks he's evil. So they're done. March 2nd, 2029, Max's followers attempt to speak to him again. Many have gone to hear Richtofen, and those loyal to Maxis eagerly await further instructions. So after a couple months, they're like, shit, we don't know what we're doing. We need Maxis. They try to get him, but they hear Richtofen. Richtofen, his plan's working out. August 15, 2029, a broadcast is sent out confirming the fall of the Flesh. Oh, and I forgot, all of this is now Black Ops 2 times, like before Black Ops 2. If you guys didn't know already. Alright, where we are at. Yeah. August 15, 2029, a broadcast is sent out confirming the fall of the Flesh and Max's followers. With each group hearing the voice of Richtofen or Maxis, a battle broke out between them. As they fought, a zombie herd moved in and destroyed all who remained. Stillinger is one of the few to escape. Richtofen and Maxis are left with no one to communicate near Green Run, where the first polarization device must be constructed. So that's what the transit thing is. or the thing you make the first polarization device in the transit Easter egg. October 13, 2035, Stillinger bumps into Russman, who has a stolen bus from an abandoned Broken Arrow facility. So he used to work at Broken Arrow. He stole the bus that is the main thing for transit. He stole that. That's Russman's. And Stillinger and Russman, 2 out of the 4 transit characters, are together. Alright, here's the transit story. October 21st, 2035. Stillinger and Russman run into Marlington and Misty, the 2 other characters. They're all together now at a diner near the Hanford site facility, the place that you spawn in at first in transit. Maxis asks them to complete the polarization device in his favor. Stillinger, having consumed zombie meat, is contacted by Richthofen, who orders Stillinger to construct the device for himself instead. The crew constructs the device for Maxis. The 4 would become known as Victus. So there's 4 main people that you need to know. The 4 main groups. Alright, so there's Victus, which is the 4 transit characters. They're huge. And they're mainly known in the comics. And it explains the comics well too. So there's Victus. There's Ultimus, the 1.0 characters of Richthofen, Takio, Dempsey, and Nikolai. Then there's Primus. Primus is the 2.0 characters, the origins and the Black Ops 3 versions of the characters. And then there's Richthofen, because there's a lot of Richthofens. Alright, there's like 4 or 5 Richthofens, I think. So that's why he has his own thing. October 22nd, 2035, Die Rise. This is the things of Die Rise. So we're in Black Ops 2 now. From here down is Black Ops 2. These events were leading up to the Black Ops 2. October 22nd, 2035, Die Rise. Still hoping to regain control, Richthofen teleports Victus to Province 22, the Die Rise place, where he demands that Stillinger activate the second polarization device. Once again, the crew sides with Maxis. The voices cease for some time, leaving Victus to wander the earth. That's how that is. December 31st, 2035, Buried. So all these are in the matter of like a few months. Alright. Buried. Victus arrives at an old western town now located beneath a mining facility in Angola. We know how that got there. They discover Arthur in a jail cell, the servant from the Wolf King, a long time ago. He assists them on their journey. The voices of Maxis and Richthofen return. They activate the final polarization device in Maxis' favor. Now corrupted by the dark aether, he reveals his true intentions to Victus and punishes Richthofen by trapping his soul in a zombie. Drawn into our... Yeah, so... Maxis, he's all crazy. He's done. He's consumed by the dark aether. He tells them his true intentions to find his daughter, even if it matters true or full destruction of the earth. So they're like, fuck, we should have sided with Richthofen. But Richthofen's crazy too, so they're in a lose-lose situation. And he punishes Richthofen, trapping his soul into a zombie. So that's what makes undead Richthofen. Drawn into Agartha by her father, Samantha witnesses the evil that has corrupted him when a rift opens in Dimension 63 in 1918. Dimension 63 is the world with origins, shadows, all the other. That's another dimension, a whole nother dimension. So, yeah, she reaches out to that timeline's Maxis to help. So, this is crazy. So let's start right here. She reaches out to that timeline's Maxis for help. So in Dimension 63, there's a whole new reality, right? With all the characters back. So Maxis is in Dimension 63. That is the good Maxis. That is the Maxis from Black Ops 2 and 3. Alright? Origins and up. So that Maxis is alright. But Maxis 1, in this world, he is bad. He is, as you said, he's consumed by the dark aether. And he did all this shit. So she's drawn into Agartha. Agartha is pretty much this is Noah J's way of describing it. Agartha is the where, and the dark aether is like in Agartha. So Agartha is like if you're in Agartha, you're just the dark aether is in there, and you can control everything. So Agartha, and that's why Richthofen wanted to find Agartha, because he wanted to have complete control. So Samantha witnesses the evil that has corrupted him. So now, and then this is where origin starts, right here. because she's like, you have to help me, and then she reaches out to that timeline's Max's for help. So hopefully that makes sense. This is one of the craziest things, except for the origins. Origins is so crazy. I'm gonna try my hardest to help and figure it out for you guys. If you guys don't understand thoroughly, and if I suck ass, go to Noah J's link down in the description. He will describe everything perfectly and everything better, probably way better than me. But if you guys are sticking around, if you guys understand so far, thank you. If you guys have a question from this far out, because we're almost done with this chapter, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below, and I will try my hardest to answer them. Thank you. Let's keep on going. January. Oh, we're pretty much done. There's the second chapter. So Dimension 63. Oh, it tells you. Dimension 63 is Origins, Mom of the Dead, and Shadows of Evil. So, yeah. January 10th, 2036. Richtofen instructs the undead Richtofen to pursue Victus and recover their blood vials. So the crazy Richtofen, or no, the Primus Richtofen instructs the crazy Richtofen to pursue Victus, the 4 transit characters, and recover their blood vials. January 19, 2036, Primus Richtofen begins to manipulate Stuhlinger, opening a rift for Victus to begin their new journey, pursued by... Is that persuade or pursued? Pursued by undead Richtofen and an army of the undead. Victus enters the rift. January 19, 2036, Maxis destroys Earth and all its surviving inhabitants. So nobody survives or nobody dies because Victus enters the rift before Maxis got rid of this dimension. So everything that we just read was in that dimension, boys. Earth dimension, the normal dimension as I like to call it, is now destroyed. Maxis, the corrupted Maxis, destroys it, and he is now the main dude of everything. 1.0 Maxis is in the Dark Aether with Richtofen and Samantha. So all of them are corrupted by the Aether and all that good jazz. So that's the whole normal story. And fuck. Do I want to start this? Because look, Dimension 63 is a whole new dimension. And it starts back in 1292. Because look, January 15, 1292, the Great War begins, humanity and the Apothecary begins. So just like here and up here, the Great War between, so it's just a time loop. So this in the beginning, original timeline ends and it starts. Dimension 63 starts in here. All right, but the Victus characters and the Primus characters they come back and they're in this dimension because they all came to this dimension. All right, actually, I'm gonna keep on going. Fuck it, why not? All right, so all that was normal dimension. Right here is now the Dimension 63. Origins, Mob of the Dead, and Shadows of Evil. So, let's do this. Alright, January 15th, 1292, the Great War between humanity and the Apothecary begins, just like what happened anyway. April 14th, 1294, Sir Pablo Marinus is saved from the clutches of Margot from 4 unknown heroes. Primus, they were later known as Primus, obviously, so this is all the same. Yeah, this is all the same. Let's go until it's not the same. Alright, right here. So everything from here up is the same. Alright. February 18, 1300, Pablo begins documenting the Great War like he did in the other world, but he had visions of it, but now he's actually documenting it, including all he has learned about the Keepers, Apothecans, and Element 115. Regarding Element 115's power, he notes that a site in northern France contains massive deposits of the element. So northern France is Origins. That whole site, that's Origins map, northern France, and that has a lot of it. June 4th, 1300, in northern France, a tomb is constructed to honor the fallen soldiers of the Great War. Within it, statues of Primus are constructed to symbolize the hope that if one day a great evil falls upon mankind, they may return. So the statues of Primus are the 4 2.0 characters of the 4 main characters, Richtofen, Takio, Dempsey, and Nikolai. They make statues of it, and those are the like down in the crazy place, not the crazy, but with the staff place in Origins, there's statues on each one of those staff totems, and each one of them, those are the statues. So that's pretty cool. So Origins has been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. July 17th, 1898, big jump. Edward Richtofen's parents die. All right. February 20th, 1905, Takeo Masake fights in the Battle of Mukin. So all the stuff that happens in this dimension, some is the same, but mostly it's not, because it's a whole dimension. A whole new outcome can come out, and it tells you what three main stories are in this dimension. August 11th, 1906, Richtofen begins his study at Heidelberg University under the tutelage of Dr. Ludwig Maxis. After having losing his parents, Richtofen comes to view him as a father figure. So Richtofen is this is like 1.5 Richtofen. This ain't 2.0 Richtofen. This is like 1.5 Richtofen, and Dr. Maxis, or you know who Maxis is, obviously. Him and Richtofen become like a father figure. He becomes a father figure to Richtofen, so that's something that's changed very much, because normally they were just 935 patients, 935 workers. But hey, July 3rd, 1912, Richtofen and Maxis joins Group 935, but they join together. Like, they're like the brotherhood. They're like brothers. June 4th, 1914, Richtofen is visited by another version of himself, handing him some blood vials. He explains, "You will need this blood. When the time comes, it will protect you," before stepping back into the rift. So that's 2.0. That's Primus Richtofen giving him blood vials, giving 1.5 Richtofen blood vials. So why Richtofen has its own part in this timeline? Because there's a 1.0 Richtofen that is corrupted by an Agartha, and he got wiped from the face of this existence, of the last existence. 1.5 Richtofen is the one that just got the blood vials, and 2.0 Richtofen gave the blood vials to him. I try to make that as clear as possible. January 5th, 1915, Maxis invents the Mauser prototype. That's the starting pistol in the Origins map. August 25th, 1916, the Journal of Sir Pablo Marinus, Knight of the Great Order, is discovered by Group 935. That is huge, because he wrote about all the apothecans, all of those motherfuckers from back then. So that is huge. March 23rd, 1917, using information gathered from Pablo's journal, Group 935 begins work at a dig site in northern France where they discovered a series of underground tombs. So that's Origins, and the underground tombs is like, you know, when they're mining in the beginning of the Origins cutscene with Avenged Sevenfold song and stuff. That's where they were digging. They were digging the underground tombs. April 21st, 1917, Group 95 discovers what appears to be the entrance of the tomb's main chamber. They struggle to gain access. So the tomb's main chamber is the place. It's the crazy place portal, but they struggle to gain access. You'll know why in a second. Right here, actually. May 11th, 1917, unable to access the main chamber, soldiers listen to a gramophone to alleviate their frustration when listening to a recording of La Source Norte, whatever. The entrance to the main chamber unexpectedly opens. The camp exposure to element 115 begins. So that's how they found the crazy place in Origins, that's why the gramophone's there. May 21st, 1917, using information from Pablo's journal and the tomb's main chamber, Maxis draws schematics from the creation of 4 elemental staves and instructs Richtofen to begin their construction. So Pablo, they learned how to make the staves from Pablo. So the staves were already made in 1200, right? When Pablo was writing these down, they were already made. And I think that they were made from the Wolf King in Der Eisendrache. I think that's where the 4 elemental staves were originally made, but he wrote them down in his journal, and now that's how the staves are in Origins. May 29, 1917, the more Maxis reads of the Great War, the more he begins to question his understanding of the scientific world and the true nature of the universe itself. He finds himself open to the possibility of a higher power, aka Monty, Dr. Monty, and the Shadow Man. June 11, 1917, as Group 935 experiments with Elemental 115, they successfully create localized energy fields which appear to function as portals. So yeah, nothing that objects can pass through them. Maxis speculates that the rifts may have opened gateways across space and time. The rifts allow Samantha to reach out to Maxis from Agartha. She begs for his help and ultimately reveals she is his daughter. So this Maxis never had Samantha, and he's like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? I do not have a child." But this is from number one. So she's in Agartha. She is corrupted as fuck, but she still has her mind, and she still wants to find, and she's begged to find this version's Maxis because she opened that rift and she's talking to us, and that's how she talked to us in Origins because she's in Agartha and all that jazz. So that's how she's talking to us. She's in Agartha and she wants this Maxis to help her get out of it. June 15, 1917, an ancient box with the power to manifest weapons from different eras arrives through a portal. Maxis fears that Element 115 is disrupting the space-time continuum. So, the mystery box, that's how the mystery box is formed. July 1st, 1917, following the installation of Element 115 power generators, reports surfaced regarding ancient figures emerging from the dig site corresponding with the mystery deaths of a number of Group 35 soldiers. The ancient figures are undead knights from the Great War. So the Great War is what happened in the beginning of the universe. And the people that when you turn on this power and you have to stand around there, the crazy people that jump up, those are the undead knights from the Great War. August 3rd, 1917, Nikolai Belinsky is sent into exile from, I think, Russia, maybe. So this is 2.0. No, this is 1.5 Nikolai right here. He's sent into exile. He's gone. Whatever. So these characters that you see here, like this, and the Richtofen that the 2.0 Richtofen gave to the Blood Vials, those are, I'm gonna call those the 1.5 versions because those are just the same versions, but they're just lived into this world in Dimension 63. Because this is a whole new world. Nothing from the first happened because it all got blown up and it's destructed. It's not even in the universe anymore. So, September 10th, 1917, using Element 115, Group 935 constructs Freya, Odin, and Thor, giant robots who they believe will secure victory for the Central Power. Those three big-ass robots from Origins that always steps on my feet because I'm a fucking... Alright. September 22nd, 1917, Richtofen notes that in spite of Group 935's progress at the dig site, he is troubled by Max's growing obsession with Pablo's diary. So he looks like he's got a little bit of Element 115 in him. So this Maxis is growing obsession with his diary. October 6, 1917, Takio is dispatched to France by the Emperor to gather intel on Group 935's weapon technology, which kind of happened in the other world. November 19, 1917, following reports of prototype armored weaponry, strange lights in the sky, and mysterious plague, and even greater metal men, which are the robots, Tank Dempsey is deployed in northern France to access the intent of Group 935's capabilities. So, yeah, so this is how Takio... So this is all the Primus characters. Oh my gosh, I'm fucking this up so bad. So this Nikolai is Primus Nikolai. Alright? I think it's Primus Nikolai, and this Tank Dempsey and that this Takio are all the Primus ones. They got split up after some weird thing happened, so they're all splitting up, but I think they all get yeah, right here. December 10, 1917, already exiled in Europe, Nikolai received new orders from the Imperial Russian Army to investigate the enemy war machine. Still loyal to the motherland, he willingly obliges. So, yeah, Takio, Tank Dempsey, and Nikolai, these are all the Primus characters, alright? They, after the Great War, and they got split up, and this is Origins 2.0 Primus characters, alright? And they all meet each other in the beginning cutscene of Origins when they all jump into the window and see Richtofen. That's when the Primus characters meet, alright, if that makes sense. But they already met in the Great War, but they forget that because it's stuck in a time loop, obviously. So, yeah, sorry for making that very hard. Fuck. February 23rd, 1918, Nikolai writes on the ongoing civil war in his homeland. He does not accept peace to last long, but he is enjoying his time in France. Alright. March 2nd, 1918, learning that the Emperor wishes to meet with him to discuss a matter of great importance to our nation, Takio writes that he feels a growing sense of dread in the wake of his recent dark, twisted dreams. But he thinks that the Emperor is going to kill him or something, or betray him. April 14, 1918, despite ongoing battles, Dempsey fares well in northern France. In a personal letter, he reveals that both the Chinese and Russian armies has also sent spies to investigate the activities of Group 95. So this is where the Primus characters meet each other, alright, for the first time, right here, in Origins cutscene, in the beginning cutscene. May 1st, 1918, Maxis is obsessed with the voice of Samantha, who now speaks to him constantly. He believes her to be the key to everything. May 12, 1918, believing that his mentor has been affected by Element 115 like others at the dig site, Richtofen reports Max's erratic behavior to Group 935 senior staff. So he's trying to take care of Maxis. He's like, alright, you're not in any fit to be a scientist anymore, so you're going to go to the senior staff, and I'm going to take care of you, Bubba. That's what Richtofen's doing, because Richtofen is like, he's the son that Maxis never had. May 13, 1918, Richtofen learns from Pablo's journal that the northern France dig site may be the single largest deposit of element 115 on Earth. He believes that this explains why it has affected so many at the site, because there's so much of it. May 14, 1918, now completely consumed by Samantha's voice, Maxis swears he will no longer serve Group 935's missions. So he's completely, from the element 115, he's completely consumed by Samantha's voice. Alright, Origins. Holy fuck. I'm gonna try to explain this the best. Alright. Origins. Element 115 awakens the undead knights from the Great War and quickly consumes the camp. That's where the when you turn on the power, where those dudes are from. Alright. Max is rendered catatonic by the element. Richtofen removes his brain before he turns, which makes sense why he was at the table in the beginning cutscene getting his head out. And he wants to put it in the drone so he can live, he can have a brain, he can talk, but he won't be in body form. That's how the Maxis drone is created. Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio reunite with Richtofen on the battlefield and help free Samantha with her imprisonment in Agartha. So that's the Origins Easter egg. Those four are the Primus characters. They unite again. Primus has been reunited, like I said, so I was right. Those characters that all show up at Origins are the Primus characters. Samantha sends Primus to their next destination. Max's brains arrives in Agartha and Dr. Monty decides to step in. Monty brings Max's brain to the house and wipes the Max's corrupted by the dark ether from existence. Alright, so while the drone was going up and he was like, I'm about to see you in Origins, at the end of Origin Easter egg, Dr. Monty steals that bitch and wipes it clean because he's like a god, right? Fucking Monty is a god. He corrupts it. He puts Maxis into the Maxis that we see in Revelations in a body, and he just gets rid of the dark aether from existence. Maxis' dark aether, not the whole dark aether. Alright, so this is all the Mob of the Dead now. So we got Origins. I explained it the best I could. So Maxis is in the house with Dr. Monty, with Samantha. Yes, with Samantha, I think. And Samantha sends Primus to their next destination. Bam. Primus has been reunited. Alright, now this is the Mob of the Dead characters. This is the Mob of the Dead. July 18th, 1922, Salvador De Luca, Sal, opens gambling houses across Chicago. This marks the beginning of the De Luca crime family. So Sal, this is the first character. February 16, 1923, Billy Handsome joins the De Luca crime family as a hitman, the second character. Sal will come to look at Billy as the son he never had. Aww. December 18, 1923, an expert in gambling and rigging sporting events, Michael Finn, the third character, O'Leary, begins working for Sal, so they're all working together. March 23rd, 1924, Finn marries Angelina Bow as an aspiring starlet with delusions of grandeur, whatever. March 1st, 1929, Sal writes of his frustration with Chicago's finest after many years of successful bribes from the city, but becomes clear that it is no longer an option. So he's been doing bribes with the city, I'm guessing like the cops or something, so he doesn't get in jail. May 11, 1930, Sal begins to work with Albert Al Arlington. Al. This dude's big. I don't think he's in. Yeah, I don't think he's in the main place. Maybe, I don't know. Al. Yeah, he is. Yeah, Al. An associate in Los Angeles, known for being a master schemer and bank robber. So he begins to work with this dude. Albert 11 or Albert October 11, 1930, Finn informs his lawyer he will not accept a divorce with Angela, saying she can leave this marriage as the day she leaves the earth. Shit. After an LA heist for Sal goes wrong, Al wakes up in the hospital. So, looks like Sal beats the fuck out of Al because he probably fucked up the LA heist or something. So, yeah. October 28th, 1931, while in the hospital, Al submits Icarus from Mars for publication as a comic strip. In his third attempt, it is denied again. Well, shit, that sucks. November 11th, 1931, angry and frustrated with his collapsing empire, Sal kills a prostitute. Well, shit, Sal, you meanie. No longer willing to turn a blind eye, Chicago PD arrests him. Alright, so Sal, he's arrested. December 1st, 1931, in an operation against the DeLuca crime family, Billy is arrested for multiple homicides. Billy and Sal are arrested. December 1931, in an operation against the DeLuca family, Finn is arrested by Chicago PD when his wife offers evidence against him. So Finn, Billy, and Sal are all locked up. Pretty much. January 1932, Al is arrested for his role in the LA heist. So all the 4 people are arrested. May 14, 1932, Sal is found guilty of murder. He is sentenced to life in the prison of Alcatraz, which all these people, pretty much, Billy is found 16 counts of murder, sentenced to life in Alcatraz. Finn is found guilty of 16 counts of gambling fraud, servants of Alcatraz. Sal and Billy arrive at Alcatraz. Finn arrives at Alcatraz. Just all these are found guilty of Alcatraz, or found guilty of Grand Theft Auto, arson, conspiracy, and all that. So that's all them arriving at Alcatraz, right? January 13, 1933, Stanley Ferguson begins working at Alcatraz Island. Stanley Ferguson is that guard that in the beginning cutscene like tells him to do stuff, the guard. April 1st, 1933, Al convinces Sal, Finn, and Billy that they can build a plane and escape Alcatraz, which Mob of the Dead, the plane and all that. December 2nd, 1933, realizing the plane will never be completed and embittered with rage, Sal, Finn, and Billy plot to revenge on Al. December 31st, 1933, Finn, Sal, and Billy lure Al to the roof and kill him. So, yeah. Alright, never mind. So, here, we kill him. January 11, 1934, stepping through a rift, Richtofen secures the blood samples of Sal and Finn. This is huge. Remember that. January 1934, found guilty of Al's murder, Sal, Finn, and Billy are executed by the electric chair, which why they electrocuted and all that at the Pack-a-Punch place. Alright, so here's this. Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al battle waves of the undead as they find themselves trapped in a seemingly endless cycle. So Mob of the Dead is just those 4 characters. You know how you pack a punch, then you have to go back to the main world by going into the electric chair? That's how they died, right? But their souls were in an endless cycle, right? So once they put themselves in the electric chair, once they build the plane, it's an endless cycle. They crash, and then they go down, electric chair, and then their souls go back into Alcatraz, and then they restart, right? An endless cycle. So right now, at the moment, they're probably flying the plane, they're getting the plane parts, right? And every time the endless cycle like starts again, they don't remember. They just their minds gets raced, so they're just in a continuous loop. So that's what the Mob of the Dead story is. April 16, 1940. Richtofen arrives in Dimension 63, the world that we're in now, where he contacts members of the Illuminati and enlists their help to build a laboratory vac facility beneath Alcatraz. So there is a whole facility under Alcatraz that we didn't know of. April 18, 1940, Richtofen meets with Stanley Ferguson and convinces him to assist with the Illuminati's construction of the Alcatraz laboratory. So this is huge. So you know in the beginning where they supposedly killed the guard, he did not die. They're just in a endless cycle. He got out. He he works he assists with the Alcatraz laboratory underground, right? So he did not die as they showed in there. They're just in a continuous loop that happens 24/7 for them. So he actually didn't die. That's pretty cool. July 3rd, 1941, Stanley Ferguson reports that the laboratory has been completed and that the subject will be placed in the stasis chambers upon arrival. So these characters are the Victus characters, and yeah, sorry, I kind of spoiled it. July 4, 1941, Richtofen returns to the lab under actors where he meets Victus, the four transit characters, arriving from the empty earth with the Canorium. The Canorium is the book of all books, like the trillion-page book of all the history of the apothegons and all of that. All this right here is from the comics. So why it's like doesn't tell you how they got the Quinorium, it tells you how they got it in the comics and shit. So the adventure after Buried is all in the comics. So that's how that they went to go find. They arrived. They arrived at the empty Earth. That was their next objective, right after Buried. An empty Earth is the beginning, the normal world, and where there's barely anything left. Cause yeah, and they found the Canorium there where he meets with it, arriving with the empty earth from the empty earth with the Canorium. Upon reading the Canorium, Richtofen discovers numerous timelines documenting their fates and learns about the blood vials. There, like numerous timelines, and that this is a second timeline that we're in. He would later write on the page, "I know what I must do." ER 4741. Richtofen enters a rift to acquire the blood of Sal and Finn, like he did in, like it said up there. After delivering the blood to his younger self, the 1.5 version, and recovering the blood vials belonging to Victus, he returns. Victus is placed on ice to be kept safe until they are needed next. So, Victus characters are put on ice under the Alcatraz laboratory, so until they are needed next. Primus arrives to collect the Victus blood samples from Richtofen. Following Primus' departure, Richtofen learns the location of the summoning key and travels to his next destination, which is Shadows of Evil. And alright, October 1st, 1941, Stanley Ferguson leaves employment at Alcatraz. So he's done, he's out of there. October 21st, 1943, posing as Mr. Rapt and the Shadow Man hires the reporter to recover artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. So the Shadow Man, this is where the Shadow Man comes in. He's been waiting like 2 freaking dimensions time worth to make his move. He's making his move now. This is where the Shadow Man comes in. We're now in the time of Shadows of Evil. December 14, 1943, the reporter recovers the artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. Among them is the summoning key. So the reporter that Mr. Rapt is an undercover Shadow Man, hires this reporter, and he got the summoning key because the Shadow Man is trying to take full control. December 20, on Christmas of 1943, as per Mr. Rapt's request, the reporter speaks to Stanley Ferguson, a retired guard from Alcatraz. Stanley gives a detailed account of the deaths of Al Arlington, Billy Handsome, Finney O'Leary, and Sal DeLuca. December 31st, 1943, at Mr. Rapp's request, the reporter arrives in Morgue City to take in its sights, sounds, and smells. Morgue City is the city of Shadows of Evil. January 15, 1944, a meteor shower rains over Morgue City. Bleh. January 30th, 1944, the reporter notes strange mold now growing all over the city. He also notes more people. He also notes people are getting sick and acting delirious. February 13, 1944, a fruit vendor tells the reporter about the ancient order of the Keepers and how they're the only ones, holding back the forces of the apocalypse. He talks of people hearing chanting from beneath the city. So The Keepers are the people that fought with Primus to kill the in the Great War to kill the Apothicans a long time ago. And the Dark Aether, because some of them left, the Keepers left, and then they got into the Dark Aether, and those are what the crazy Keepers are. Um, the crazy ones, the ones that try to attack you in Shadows of Evil when you try to do a ritual and stuff, those are the bad Dark Aether Keepers, but there's good Keepers. March 30th, 1944, the reporter sends Mr. Rapt a telegram providing details and contract information for Nero, Jessica Rose, Floyd Campbell, and Jack Vincent, the four characters from the Shadows of Evil map. April 5th, 1944, aware of the Shadowman's actions, Monty writes to the reporter warning him to not give the summoning key to anyone. Because Monty knows that the reporter, or knows that the Mr. Rapt is the Shadowman. April 10th, 1944, Jessica Rose learns a photographer is in possession of compromising pictures of her, which is the prostitute that kills that dude in the beginning cutscene. April 20th, 420, Blaze It, 1944, pretending to be a company executive, the Shadowman tells Nero's lawyer, one of the dudes, one of the four characters, that Nero's wife has taken out substantial loans in his name. Nero has 15 days to settle before the company seeks reparation. Facing multiple debts due to his wife's spending habits, Nero decides to kill his wife and use her insurance to pay the debt. So this is all a ruse. The Shadowman's pretending to be a company executive. So Nero kills his wife for no reason. Masquerading as an attorney affairs officer, the Shadowman tries to convince Vincent's partner, to admit that Jax is on the take. Upon learning that Internal Affairs is snooping around, Jax plots to kill the snitch who could provide evidence against him. So he's now bullshitting as an Internal Affairs officer. So Shadowman, he has a great plan. His plan is crazy. The Shadowman poses as a film director, interesting in hiring Jessica for a leading role. He tells her producer that the part is hers. Afraid that the photographer could jeopardize her chance at stardom, she asked him to meet her so they can sort stuff out. So that's how they started doing stuff, and then kills him because the Shadowman posed as a film director. She wants to do stuff as acting. Posing as a journalist, the Shadowman suggests Floyd Campbell is a journeyman fighter to Floyd's promoter. Wanting to guarantee a shot at the title, Floyd decides to wear brass knuckles under his gloves to fight with Tony King. So all of this is in the beginning cutscene of Shadows of Evil. Why they're killing everyone that they hate is because the Shadowman is faking things for faking different ideas for each character for them to falsely kill someone, right? And he uses those killings for the four sacrifices. It'll tell you. April 21st, 1944, Nero misses a call from his lawyer informing him that the documents were forged and there's nothing to worry about. He misses that, so he kills him anyway. Jack misses a call from his partner saying that he has his back with Eternal Affairs and has nothing to worry about. He misses it, so he kills him anyway. Floyd misses a call with his promoter that the fight was a success and that he has a shot at the title. He didn't get it, so blah. Jessica misses a call from her producer. He says he didn't have a good feeling about the director and it didn't work out. However, he scored a lead in a musical and his partners are financing, so she missed it. She kills that one dude anyway. Jessica kills the photographer and secures the photographs. Jack kills the snitch who could turn him over to Internal Affairs. Floyd kills Tony King in the boxing match and cashes in on his winnings. Nero kills his wife in a work accident, cashing in her life insurance policy to square away the debt, and Richtofen arrives in Mork City to secure the summoning key. So all of that is that the only reason why the Apothicans come back is because the Shadowman did this and they missed all their calls. The only reason why all the Black Ops shit happened in Revelations was because they missed the calls, and that's how the Shadowman came into power. Oh no. All you had to do was answer your phone, man. And you didn't have to kill these people, because these people that they killed are the sacrifices that the Shadow Man uses in the four that they make them do the sacrifice and shit. Alright. Shit. Alright. April 22nd, 1944, Richtofen learns that the reporter has a summoning key and confronts him. The reporter is the one that the Shadow Man hired to get it. The reporter waves Money's letter at Richtofen and orders him to stay away before attacking him. Richtofen kills the reporter in self-defense. Alright. Alright, here's the Shadow of Evil. Here it is. So here's everything that I was trying to sum up later, or before. April 25th, 1924. Nero, Jack, Floyd, and Jessica are knocked unconscious at the Black Lace Burlesque Club. They wake up in a twisted version of Morgue City, shifted slightly from reality. Told they can atone for their sins by the Shadow Man, all four are tricked into performing rituals. Alright, Jessica sacrifices her producer, like I said. Jack sacrifices his producer. Floyd sacrifices his promoter, or sacrifices his partner. Floyd sacrifices his promoter, and Nero sacrifices his lawyer. Completing the required rituals, the Apothecans are given access to Dimension 63. That is bad. Realizing that they've been duped, the four work with the Keepers to defeat the Shadow Man. They've trapped him in the summoning key, but before they can hand it over to the Keepers, Primus Richtofen, 2.0 Richtofen, arrives and steals the key. Richtofen travels to Dimension 2210, a whole nother dimension. To secure an innocent Richtofen soul, he delivers the soul to the house. From within the summoning key, the Shadow Man states, "I'll be seeing you." So, this was all the, like, right here, completing the rituals and stuff. The Apothecans have given access to Dimension 63. So, the Shadow Man just did this whole grand plan. He struck while the iron was hot. He allowed the Apothecans to come back into Dimension 63, which fucked everything up. Shadow's Evil, they fucked up, alright? And they wanted to work for the Keepers, the good Keepers. But they trapped Shadow Man in the summoning key, alright? Yay. But before they can hand it over to the Keepers, Primus Richtofen arrives and steals the key as the ending cutscene to the Shadows of Evil Easter egg. And he goes and secures a little Richtofen soul, like a little kid Richtofen soul, and he delivers it to the house that is free of everything from Monty, and that's where little yeah, and that's where little dude comes in. Alright, I'm not even gonna be saying that. So, Shadow Man, I'll be seeing you. And then April 26, 1944, the Apothecans destroy Dimension 63. Alright. So, that's everything. That's all bad stuff. That's all bad stuff. Right there. All bad stuff. The Apothecans destroy Dimension 63. So, Dimension 63 is now out. So, to cap it all up, the beginning of all this stuff right here, all this stuff from here that we read all the way down to here is the normal world, the Earth world. And that's World at War, Black Ops 1, and some of Black Ops 2. And then Dimension 63 is these three, Origins, Mother Dead, and Shadows of Evil, which we read. And then now, I think there's one more after Deceptive Fracture. I think there's one more. Yeah. Alright, so I don't know if this should be in the order, but we're going to read it anyway. So, Deceptio Fracture. So, fractures are just fractures in universes. They're not a whole dimension. They're just fractures of a universe, right? So, they're not a whole thing. This is the giant story. As a zombie outbreak occurs, Primus, Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai confront Ultimus Richtofen moments after he teleports Maxis and Samantha. So, in this fracture, Primus, Dempsey, and all of them go to Ultimus Richtofen, the 1.0, the original Richtofen that's corrupted and all of that, and he teleports Maxis and Samantha like he did in the first, and like as he did normally in the Reese Easter egg. So as they try to reason with him to wake their counterparts, Primus Richtofen arrives there, the teleporter, and kills his Ultimus self. triggering fractures across space and time. As Primus fights the undead, Group 935 secure the Dempsey subject and transport him to Horizon Jacket. Primus pursues them in a German giant. So, yeah. So they take Group 935 takes Dempsey's subject to their Horizon Jacket. So so they killed 1.0 Richtofen. He's dead. That's what happened in the Giant. October 29, 1945, Dr. Groff takes control of 935 in Richtofen's absence, not realizing his fate at the hands of Primus. October 31st, 1945, in the wake of haunted dreams and rumors that Samantha may be roaming Griffin Station, Groff worries that the MPD may be corrupting the facility. Just remember, this is the Deceptio fracture. Alright, this is just another fracture in the universe. Just make sure that you know that this ain't a whole universe. November 5th, 1945, Horizon Jacket, recovering the Dempsey subject from a rocket bound for the moon. Richtofen secures his soul and reveals to Primus his intention to set things right. Primus destroys Griffin Station and the moon. So the moon is gone. It's out of here. And these two, you know how they had to get their own subjects' blood vials in the Horizon Jack? They got after the Easter egg, it shows Dempsey getting his blood vials and his test subject. They collected the souls in the summoning key. So that's why they're in Horizon Drac, because they recovering the Dempsey subject. So they had to take his blood for all that. So here's the Protodon fracture. Here's another fracture in the universe. April 12th, 1942, overrun by the undead, the Rising Sun facility is lost. Shino Numa facility is lost. July 8th, 1942, Division 9 begins construction of the island facility. I think the island facility is... Fuck, I forgot. Shit. October 9th, 1942, with construction complete, Division 9 continues their project at the island facility. Oh no, island facility is Zetsubo no Shima. That's the island facility. My bad. So, island facility is Zetsubo. November 9th, 1942, Takio is dispatched by the Emperor to oversee the work of Division 9 at the island facility. Do you know how at the end of... Never mind, I'll tell you in a minute. February 6, 1943, Division 9 expands experimentation to include use of prisoners of war, Division 9 staff, arachnids, and mythical beasts. That's why there's big-ass spiders on Zetsubo and the mythical beast and shit. So, yeah, June 15, 1943, Takio reports to the Emperor the work being done at the island facility is unacceptable, like he said about the Group 935 in the normal dimension. July 24th, 1943, on the orders of the Emperor, Takio is taken prisoner by Division 9. He is used as a test subject for their organic plant-based experiments. September 13, 1945, Cornelia attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain telling him to rendezvous at the abandoned Rising Sun facility. So it's not the other facility that they're in the normal world, it's the Rising Sun facility. Zetsubo no Shima. This is Zetsubo no Shima story. Primus secures Takio's soul after they help him commit seppuku. I don't know what that is. I think it's probably the Easter egg. But all of this, Takio is dispatched to Division 9 at the island facility, and Takio reports to the Emperor and all that. That's all the Takio that they take the blood from. They take his soul from at the end of the Zetsubo no Shima Easter egg. Richtofen takes the crew to Dimension 63 to collect their blood for their insurance policy. They return to the island before traveling to their next destination. So the insurance policy is when they're about to get banned from existence, like wiped from existence, they drink the blood. You'll understand. I don't want to spoil it all. Agona fracture. So this is the last fracture? Yeah, this is the last fracture in the universe, which explains a couple things. November 11, 1942, Groff confirms that Division 9 has completed the resurrection of the ancient beast for the battle on the Eastern Front. Reports suggest that the specimens are still extremely dangerous, but the Germans' stalemate on the Eastern Front with the Russians will soon come to an end. Thanks for their involvement. Alright. January 3rd, 1943, the Russians used stolen Group 95 research to create the Russian Gigant, the Russian Mangler, and the Ray Gun Mark III. So the Russian Gigant is like the big Gigant or something. The big Russian robot from Gorod Krovy, the Russian Mangler from Gorod Krovy, and the Ray Gun Mark III from Gorod Krovy, the dual-wield crazy weapon. February 2nd, 1943, the Battle of Stalingrad doesn't end thanks to technological advancements on both sides. World War II continues indefinitely. So in this Agana fracture, World War II is always a war. The whole place is a battleground, and the this is in the place of Gorod Krovy. So Gorod Krovy is in the Agana fracture, if that makes sense, where we were at. February 13, 1943, working with Max's at the Kino facility, Sophia reveals she was attacked by Subject 26. That happened in the normal world. February 14, 1943, having learned Sophia was attacked by Subject 26, Maxis kills her and transfers her brain into a machine, the Strategic Operations Planning Heuristic Intelligent Analyzer. All that is into Sophia, which, yeah, Sophia, I think it's the ball. Yeah, like, the ball from Gorod Krovy and Revelations, that's what Maxis put her in. July 7, 1943, Sophia is transferred to Stalingrad, Gorod Krovy, to oversee Group 935 operations. September 2nd, 1943, Harvey Yana reports the dragons, the dragon that you kill in Gorod Krovy, have been proven beneficial to the war effort at Stalingrad. He confirms that Die Glocke research continued to explore time displacement and movement across dimensions. So all of this is Gorod Krovy. November 6, 1943, Sophia confirms the existence of Project Rasputin, the Russian Mangler soldier. The pieces of shit, when you're trying to do the Easter egg, they try to get your ass. Those motherfuckers. January 11, 1944, Sophia confirms the Russian Gigant robot has set back the German advances. The big robot that, just like the ones in Origins, but the Russian-made ones. April 14, 1945, Sophia declares the Battle of Stalingrad is nearing victory for German forces and that Valkyrie drones, those crazy Valkyrie drones, the fuckers that come at those spawn or those rounds, have been deployed to locate any resistant strains and attempt capture. So those are what they're normally for, to deploy and locate any resistant strains and attempt capture. After the release of large concentrations of element 115 by German forces, the city becomes largely populated by the undead. Gorod Krovy city. Nikolai and his comrades continue to fight for what remains of Stalingrad. So that's why Nikolai has that big ass freaking robot, because this Nikolai, 1.5 Nikolai, is in this world. He's in the Agana fracture, and he's trying to, for Mother Russia. September 2nd, 1945, World War II still rages on. Stalingrad has turned into a three-way conflict between dragons, machines, and the undead. That would be crazy. Without any remaining human survivors, Sophia is now trapped in the city. November 6, 1945, drifting through space and time in its ethereal form, Gersh arrives in the fracture. Holy crap. So Gersh, that made the Gersh device, you know how he went through the rift? He went through the Gersh that we talked about? He arrives at Gorod Krovy, and that's what that little ball is that you have to shoot in the Easter egg. That's Gersh. That's the dude that went through the freaking the rift, the Gersh rift, because that one dude, I forgot his name, but Samantha forced him to make it, even though that Gersh didn't want him to. So here's the Gorod Krovy thing. Primus arrives, 2.0 characters, frees Sophia and acquires Nikolai's soul, the Easter egg. Richtofen teleports the souls of Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai to Max's at the house. Monty announces his existence to Primus for the first time. So at this point, from all these three fractures, the 2.0 characters from Dimension 63, they had to leave because the Apothicans destroyed it. The Apothicans destroyed Dimension 63. They went to these three right before Dimension 63 was destroyed by the Apothicans. They went to these three places, and that's what the Gorod Krovy, Dreisendrach, and Zetsubo is. They had to go to different fractures in universes to get the blood vials and the souls of their 1.5 version characters. And now, all right, we're still not done yet. of April 25th, 1952, while traveling to Shangri-La, Brock and Gary's plane crashes. Brock and Gary, the one that found Shangri-La, plane crashes in the mountains as a result of a freak atmospheric event. Another side event for of the temporal rifts created by Primus while traveling to Garad Krovi. So the effect of them traveling to Garad Krovi made a another temporal rift to show up and made Brock and Gary's plane crash, and they fucked their day up. So this is a different time place. They were only caught in a loop in the normal world, but in this fracture, they died in a plane crash. November 6, 1963, hiding in a closet at the Pentagon, Nakamura records a message confirming that John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Fidel Castro have died as a result of the zombie outbreak. He dies moments later. So in this fracture, this is not anything to do with the normal world. In this fracture, the way that John F. Kennedy and all of them died was from the zombie outbreak, but in the real normal time, they all survived. So there's pretty much like a different story in every universe, which is pretty cool. So this is different, and all that. All these fractures have different meanings. So alright, so now we're on to Agartha. Agartha is the last place. Agartha is the Revelations. This is all Revelations. In the beginning of before, beginning, and after Revelations. The summoning key. This is unknown because we don't know when Revelations is technically in. So the summoning key. The keepers craft the summoning key, a device that allows them to manipulate the aether, holding power over reality itself. They use it to create Agartha. So this is way before. This is how the summoning key is made. The keepers made it, and then that's how they made the aether. To manipulate the aether. So there's good aether, then there's the dark aether, and the dark aether's bad. And that's how they made Agartha, the crazy fucking with all the dark aether in it. The first transference device, the keepers mastered the ability to travel between dimensions. The keepers a long time ago mastered that ability. And the only reason how we know how to make that is because of Pablo's journals. He wrote it down. The dark aether. Some keepers begin to experiment with the dark ether, which corrupts and corrodes their souls. Among them is the Shadow Man. So that's how the Shadow Man is made, from the dark aether. It corrupts and corrodes their souls. The Aether Pyramid, the one that's on Moon. The corrupted keepers created the Aether Pyramid, a device capable of absolute power. A schism forms between them and those keepers untainted by the dark aether. So this is how the bad keepers and the good keepers are away from each other. The War of Agartha begins. War breaks out between the corrupted and uncorrupted keepers. So the bad keepers that we fight in Shadows of Evil and Revelations, and the good keepers that fought with us to defeat the Apothicans in the Great War with Primus. The War of Agartha ends. Facing defeat, the corrupted keepers hide the Aether Pyramid on a moon within one of the newly discovered dimensions, which is where they made Griffin Station on top of it. After banishing the corrupted keepers to the dark aether beneath creation, the remaining keepers take on a mantle of guardians. Trapped in the dark aether, the corrupted keepers contort and evolve over eons, ultimately becoming the Apothicans they desire, or the Apothicans. So this is how the Apothicans were made, and this is how the Great War started, because the corrupted keepers that lost in a battle like billions and billions of years ago to the keepers, they became the Apothicans. They desire above all else to return to Agartha. So that's how the Great War happens, because they want revenge over the keepers, but Primus and the keepers come together and they defeat the Apothicans in the Great War of 1292, I think it is, or some shit like that. So it's all coming together. The first arrival. With Dr. Monty's help, the Maxis Jones arrives at the house in Agartha. Despite the absence of his soul, Monty recreates a physical manifestation of his Dimension 63 form. So good Maxis that he swooped in when he was going up in the Origin Easter egg. He swooped Max's brain, got rid of all of his dark aether form, all of his dark aether, and put him in a soul. Woohoo! Good for Monty, because Monty he's crazy. He's a god. The arrival of Samantha. Monty brings Samantha into the house. reuniting her with the Dimension 63 incarnation of her father, Samantha. But yeah, she is corruption. She is corrupted as fuck because she was in Agartha, which had a lot of dark ether in it. Knowing that Samantha is corrupted by the dark aether, Monty takes her away from Maxis and the house. So Monty takes Samantha, the corrupted Samantha, away. The isolation of Maxis. Alone in the house and missing his daughter, Maxis wonders if Richtofen will have the courage to fulfill the vow he made all those years ago. So he's wondering if the Primus characters are going to come back. The rediscovery of the empty Earth. Having observed Monty for some time, Maxis uses the teleporter in the basement of the house where the Primus characters spawn, like come in, to study and explore other dimensions. Among them is the empty Earth, where an alternate Maxis has constructed zero base. An alternate Maxis, like empty Earth, is normal to the beginning, the normal Earth, when it's all done, it's all empty. Maxis, an alternate Maxis constructed zero base, a facility that houses artifacts and replicas collected from a multitude of different timelines. So this place that alternate Maxis made in the empty Earth, which is the place that is the normal, what's left of the normal world, normal dimension, has artifacts that has helly stuff, like helly stuff from other timelines. So it probably has the chronorium, and it has all, like, everything from all these different timelines, all the fractures, all everything. However, his attempts to manipulate the empty Earth creates a reality too fragile to be sustained. So he's trying to manipulate the empty Earth, but he can't do it because it's too fragile. Because it's like, it's nothing, it's empty. The restoration of innocence. Monty returns Samantha to Maxis, her innocence restored. So Samantha, this is original Samantha. This is like when she was first born. Maxis, normal Maxis made her. Her Maxis made her go into Agartha. She gets taken from Agartha from the origin Easter egg because we helped her. Monty takes her, gets rid of the corruption, and she is now with her father again. So everything's good in the house. Monty's plan. Monty explains to Maxis that the paradox wrought by a multi-universe must be resolved. A new reality must be created, one free of the apothecants, but only if they enlist the aid of souls who had lived through the fracturing. So what Monty is trying to do, folks, he is trying to make a perfect world. Nothing wrong with it. There is no multi-universe things in it. So he's trying to get rid of the new characters. He's trying to get rid of Primus because Primus has been they've been through all those fractures. They've been through normal world. They've been through freaking Dimension 63. He's like, nah. The reason why this keeps happening because he knows about the time loops. He knows about in dimensions. It's just the same thing over and over again, right? It starts in the Great War and all that. So he is trying to be like, nah, I'm not trying to have none of that. I'm trying to have the perfect world so everyone can live their lives again. The Chronorium secured. Among the artifacts that Maxis is collected in Zero Base, because, yeah, is an ancient book known as the Chronorium, a complete chronicle of the entire history and future of all reality. And like I said, it's like a trillion pages long. It's the entire history and future of all reality. So this book gives you everything that you need to know. Like, it'll tell you the future. Oh no. So this book is beautiful. Protected by various countermeasures, the facility can only be accessed by those possessing a soul. So Maxis, the one that he took his brain, uncorrupted it, and put it in a soul in a body in the house, he doesn't have a soul. So he has to put someone with a soul to get the Chronorium. So that's exactly what they're going to do. Richtofen's journey begins. Maxis tells Richtofen the plan to secure the Chronorium and locate the summoning key. Maxis tells him, Richtofen. Hearing the echoes of his other selves, Richtofen the 1.0, Richtofen the 1.5, Richtofen discovered, and the one that he killed, and sacrifices himself. So there's three Richtophens he's hearing right now. Richthofen discovers his connection with Samuel Stuhlinger and devises to use Victus to acquire the Chronorium. So this is the comic book stuff right here. So Richthofen, he hears that his older self uh, uh, can try to manipulate Stuhlinger, which we talked about. So he gets Victus, the four transit characters, to go get the Chronorium. That's how they got the Chronorium. It tells us how the Chronorium was gotten, or yeah, gotten, I guess. The manipulation of Stuhlinger, having overseen the construction of a laboratory beneath Alcatraz, Richthofen returns to the house where he begins to communicate with Stuhlinger. Together, they persuade Victor to travel to a various of locations in order to recover the Chronorium. So this is all here. Yeah, here, all of this is pretty much comic book stuff. The Chronorium retrieved. Upon arriving at Zero Base, Victus provides blood samples that allow them to access the empty Earth and recover the Chronorium. So they got the Chronorium. That's from the comic book. The blood acquired. Richthofen collects the Victus blood samples from undead Richthofen. So the Richthofen that he killed in the giant beginning, he collects the 2.0 Richthofen collects the blood samples from that undead Richthofen. The arrival of Edward. Richthofen collects Eddie's innocent soul from Dimension 2210, and Monty gives him a physical form in the house. So at the end of the Origin Easter egg where you see the dog, you see Samantha, and you see Eddie, that's Edward. That's the innocent Eddie soul from Dimension 2210. And I forgot why Richthofen went to 2210, but he went there for another reason up there. I don't want to go looking because I'll lose my spot. So he went to Dimension 2210 again, and he got Eddie. Samantha meets Edward. Eddie and Samantha meet each other for the first time, and they're about the same age. They're all little kids. Samantha writes in her diary that Edward doesn't like to share toys. Okay. The happiness of the children. Monty brings Eddie and Samantha more toys. That's irrelevant. The fragility of the memory. I guess. Maxis notes that teleportation and travel between dimensions could have a profound impact on the mind. He fears that the confusion caused by the collusions of memories past, present, and future could lead to the collapse of reality itself. So Maxis in the house, he's like, bro, you guys doing all this stuff, we're gonna lose the grip to reality, and we're gonna everything's gonna be gone. The arrivals of the souls. The souls arrive. The four souls that the Primus characters gave to Monty. Maxis tells Samantha and Eddie to put the toys away and to make sure the windows are locked before they come down to the basement. So that is the end of Origin's Easter egg right there. The reason why they say the sirens go off and all that is because all the souls that they collected in the Black Ops 3 came to the house. So in a weird way, the Origins Easter egg, the ending cutscene, is right after the Black Ops 3 events, if that makes sense. Or yeah, it's right after the Black Ops 3 events. So if that makes sense. We're almost there. We're almost done, boys. The children's reborn. As each soul arrives, Monty transforms them into their younger selves and return their innocence. So the four souls that they collected during the Horizon Drac, the Giant, Shino, Zetsubo no Shima, and was it Grod Krovi, all the four Primus original people, they turn them into their little kid forms, and that's why you see them in the Revelations beginning cutscene. And they're complete innocent. So young Richthofen, Samantha, and all the young people, Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio, all their child innocent forms are at the house. Alright? It's at the house. The arrival of Primus. Now soulless, Primus brings the summoning key to the house. So Primus is now soulless. Alright? Where Maxis unwittingly releases the Shadow Man, like you saw in the Revelations beginning scene. He releases him from the... I think that the Shadow Man manipulated him because he had no soul. And that's what I think happened. who it who in turn frees the apothegms from the dark ether. Unaware that they will be wiped from existence once they have served their final purpose, Primus battles alongside Monty in his final battle against the Shadow Man. So that's the Revelations Easter egg. So, since they have no soul, they will be wiped from existence. Like, they won't be in another dimension. The Primus characters will not be in another dimension, and none of that. So, Revelations. With the Shadow Man and the Apothegms vanquished, they're done for. Monty discovers that Primus has consumed the blood of souls from dimensions that no longer exist. The paradox must be solved. So right here is the ending cutscene to Revelations Easter egg. Monty finds that they drank the blood vials from the souls of the dimensions that he doesn't want. Because what Monty wants, he wants the perfect universe. He doesn't want these characters, and he doesn't want the apothegms. The apothegms are out. The Shadow Man's out. Everything bad is out. He has the kids. He has all the original kids. That was his whole plan. He has the kids. He got everything. He's in the house. He has the perfect world. But the only thing he had to get rid of was those Primus characters, and that's what he did. He sent them back to the Great War, and that's what ends the Revelations Easter egg, and that's what ends the Treyarch story timeline. Holy crap, guys! 2 hours and 10 minutes of talking. I hope I tried to do this the best I can. Some things I couldn't understand thoroughly because they're in the comics, but everything in my brain seems to be all on here. And if you guys want to do it for yourself or find a better person to explain this to you, like I said multiple times, Noah J, description in the or below in the description, he'll go more in depth, but I tried to go in depth as possible. But if you guys, I'll put the link in the description of this, and if you guys want to scroll through this for yourself, maybe even make your own video on it, do it. All right, do it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Holy crap, 2 hours and 11 minutes. This was so fun. I finally understand the whole zombie storyline, the whole thing. It was so, oh my gosh, they did all this in 4 games, folks. They made all this up in 4 games, and they have so much. There's gonna be a Black Ops 4, or there's gonna be a continuation to this, because they have so much things they can go off of. They can go off the older in the perfect world, and they can go, oh my gosh, they have so many things that they can do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and that's been me, Insane Skills. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.